Hello and welcome to the quick overview of the Marketplace Asset Period Clothing version 1 for Metahumans. I'm going to go through a very quick overview of what's included in the pack, what works well, what doesn't work so well. It's nothing more frustrating than buying a pack and then realizing it's not really going to work for your project, which I've had happen many times. So I'm going to be very honest about what works well and what doesn't work well, what's in the pack, what's not in the pack. So yeah, let's jump straight into it, and then we'll do a little tutorial on just how to attach it to a Metahuman that you've downloaded via the Quixel bridge. So first things first, it is the Period Clothing version 1. There is a blueprint file, a folder, a map, a materials, a meshes, a shaders, and textures. The blueprints is really just an example file in the showcase of stitching some of these skeletal meshes together in blueprints so that you can see the different types of characters that I've created, or the different types of clothing that I've created for the Metahuman characters. The best way to view it, though, is we'll just jump into the map showcase, which is pretty straightforward. So yeah, we have the waistcoat characters with the trousers, the peak, the flat cap, and the bowler hat. Gas mask, and we have some gun holsters. We have the English police officer and the King/Queen's Guard. And then we have the modular meshes over here. So if we just go through this really quickly, some of these meshes have been designed for different projects and then optimized for this pack. For example, the waistcoat is the highest resolution mesh, the highest try count, and that's because it was designed for a project. I was inspired by another artist and designed this for a sort of Peaky Blinders style Birmingham gangsters scene that I was going to make in more of a cinematic style, more of like a walkthrough game than an actual playable game. And then I had to optimize this down to work with the Metahumans so that it wasn't too high. It's still very good on its poly and its try count for modern day games. It's still more than sufficient in its optimization. However, the police officer and the King/Queen's Guard, they have been specifically designed for NPCs. So they were essentially the bad guys in a little stealth tutorial that I was going to do, a stealth takedown tutorial where they're patrolling around a museum, and these lovely gangster-looking guys, the hero characters, kind of come in and take these guys out with some stealth finishes. So that's what they were designed for. So they're significantly more optimized than the waistcoat. Doesn't mean you can't use them with the hero character. It's still completely high enough in its normal map detail, diffuse detail to be used as a hero character. It just doesn't have quite the same try count as the waistcoat character. And here's the modular pieces together. So we have the coat for the police officer. We also have a separate coat for the Queen's Guard that I just haven't put in here because it's got the filigree and the cuffs and the parts at the back, etc. We have one pair of trousers which we just apply different textures to. We have one waistcoat with a bow tie and one waistcoat with a necktie, hence the naming convention of this, if you select it, is SK Waistcoat BT for bow tie, and you guessed it, SK Waistcoat NT for necktie. We have the shoes, the two gas masks, the police helmet, the flat cap, the bowler hat, and two holsters. Now, the holsters currently have only been set up to fit perfectly the waistcoat gangsters. They haven't been set up to fit the police officer or King's or Queen's Guard. They will be. I'm just in the process of doing that. I didn't want to just create another skeletal mesh to put in the pack that was just resized to fit this. I'm playing around with a blueprint that can be added to the pack in the future, where you'll just be able to set a setting on the blueprint and then you'll know it'll fit the police officer, the King's or Queen's Guard, etc. The other thing in the pack is we do have a cell shader, a post-process cell shader, I should say. I'm not an expert in how these things work, but it was stitched together using some guides, tutorials, etc. online, and we've essentially just created our own derivative of that. So period clothing, shaders, cell shader, the PP outline inst, add that, And then you just need to come down to the post-processing volume setting and do infinite unbound. And I'm really happy with the result. Again, I don't know how optimized or unoptimized that is as a post-process volume. You guys probably know more than me on that, but I like it. It looks really cool. In fact, in many ways, I think the pack looks better with the cell shader over it. Kind of adds that sort of Kingsman style Archer graphic novel look to it. So yeah, really cool. You can obviously just turn the post-process off, or you can just, once you don't want it, you just delete it. So that's it. That's a quick overview of the pack. We'll move into the third-person map now, and we'll actually talk about how to attach these skeletal meshes to the character, and then play a third-person character with it in the third-person blueprint. So let's come back to the period clothing version 1. Sorry, let's go to Metahumans. I'm not going to show you how to download a Metahuman. There's so many tutorials on that it's super easy. You can just also come up here to the quickly add to project with the Quixel bridge, and you can do it that way. It's really simple. For this pack, you must use the normal height, normal weight Metahuman. So that's the only body size that currently works with this pack, is normal height, normal weight. And that's been chosen specifically because normal height, normal weight seemed, in my opinion, to be the best for if you're going to fill out a world with people. That seemed the most, I guess, average. If you dropped a normal height, normal weight in there, you wouldn't kind of really notice. Obviously, you might want to drop a really big guy in as like a boss, but for now, it's just a normal height, normal weight. So we have Christopher. Here we are. The one thing I will say is when you download the Metahuman, you must download it with long sleeve shirt and long trousers or jeans. And the reason for this is if you don't download it with the long sleeve shirt, once you remove the shirt, you'll still have arms. For a short sleeve shirt, you'll still have the arms coming up quite high. And then when you attach our clothing, you'll get some clipping between the clothing and the character. I know a lot of people like to have like an RPG style where the character runs around nude, or in their undies, and then they pick up some inventory and then they put the clothing on and it layers on like that. I totally get it. That's just not a very well optimized way to do it. If you look at any of the AAA rated games out there, I'm trying to think of some now, like Hitman or Red Dead Redemption 2, where you've got almost infinite clothing that the character can wear. You have to have the body optimized underneath. You can't be asking the system to draw the body as well, call the body, and then call all the clothing and skeletal meshes as well. It's just really inefficient and hurts performance. So just get it with long sleeve trousers and long sleeve shirt. We'll jump quickly into the construction script. When you download your Metahuman, you won't have any of this. So I'll just move this away just for a second. Oops. Okay. So we'll grab this and we'll just drop it down. You would have, for yourself, you'd have the feet, the legs, the torso, then you'd have the face with the validated get, and then you'd have the rest of this. All of this comes when you just download the Metahuman. All we have done is just create additional skeletal meshes under the hierarchy, and then copy and post the enable master pose and connect them all up. So I'll show you with the holster. We'll just come through and we'll delete holster. Torso is what the holster is parented to, is the child of. Let's delete that. And let's find torso. Come back here, and this is how you do all of them. You just add to torso, you go skeletal mesh, you call it holster. You can drag this out into here. You can grab this one, Control C, Control V, or copy paste. Move this, connect this, connect this. I think I disconnected this part as well, so we have to connect that back up. And then you just take the holster into skeletal mesh component and click compile. If you wanted to add trousers, for example, so legs, the legs are already there, but let's just say you were putting something over the trousers like armor, and you were calling it armor, and it was leg armor, you'd just simply come to the legs and you'd add a skeletal mesh there. And you'd call the skeletal mesh rather than holster armor, and you'd do the same thing. The only other thing worth pointing out is you'll see I have an SK combined clothes. What that is the meshes where I've actually combined the waistcoat, the trousers, or the police top, the police coat, and the police trousers and shoes. And that's just so that you can optimize your scenes a bit better, because that means Unreal Engine, to my understanding, is that if you have too many skeletal meshes in this process, or too many skeletal meshes that are visible in the viewport or in the game, the system has to essentially do draw calls on all those meshes. So the more meshes you have and you layer on top, the heavier the burden on the system to call those meshes. So, yeah. So let's come in and let's just do a quick example and wrap this up. We'll go torso. We'll turn that off. We'll do a modular version first, then we'll do a combined version. Let's get rid of the jeans. Get rid of the shoes. So we've got just this guy nude. Now let's come back to torso. And we can just type in SK underscore waist, and it brings up the waistcoats, and we'll do BT for bow tie. And he's got the grey on. Let's do legs. We'll do SK underscore trouser. It's trouser wide, because they're wide trousers. And you'll notice that they're different because they're blue. So you can at least mix and match the textures in order to get sort of different styles, which works quite nicely. This one doesn't work so well, so I'm going to come in here. I'm actually going to change both of them to material instance MI tweed, and I'll do tweed trouser wide. There we go. And I'll do the same for up here. I'll do MI material instance underscore tweed, and remember we want tweed bow tie BT. There you go. Now we've changed it to tweed. Let's go to feet. Oops. Here. SK underscore, let's go Oxford, the shoe, and we'll put the Oxfords on. There we go. We'll compile. So you could have it like that. You could have the characters just moving around in the world like this with no sort of inventory, for example, and then maybe they find a holster, and then you can attach the holster to them. SK underscore holster. We'll do version 1 for now. It's a bit more of a modern version comparative to version 2. Could be modern day, could be old school, kind of works. You'll see that we've got the arm holster, mag, and gun. That's because they're broken up as individual parts, so that you could have it so that you've got to collect 3 parts and then craft it together. Cool. We won't put a hat on because he's got hair. Obviously, you could, but if you're going to wear one of the hats, what I'd suggest you do is generate a metahuman with short hair or shaved head, and that way you'll still get the sideburns and the back, the nape of the hair, but you won't get the top part, and you won't get it popping through the hat. But again, then you're asking it to draw the hair and call the headwear as well. So we'll do mask instead, because one of the masks has been SK underscore gas mask has been optimized for the characters with hair, and you'll see that you got this sort of pushing through the hair. I mean, it would realistically it'd be kind of more on top than through, but in my opinion, it looks cool. I like it. I still think it looks cool. Okay, so let's come back to the third-person template, and let's see what this looks like and how it works. Alright, so here's the character, third-person template, running around, all working well. I've moved the camera in a bit because I don't like the really far away third-person camera. It doesn't look that good in my opinion. But yeah, here we go. We've got the character. So everything's working. All moving together. And pretty well optimized. So yeah, looks cool in my opinion. Metahuman, Christopher, we'll come back and we'll just do a quick example of the combined meshes. I'm just going to grab the legs, and I'm going to click up here and type in viz for visible, and I'm just going to hide the legs. I'm going to hide the torso, and I'm going to hide the feet. We go back into viewport, so we should have that, and I'm going to just get rid of the holster for now. So now we can come to the SK combined clothes, and I can just do something like SK underscore combined Let's do King's Guard. And we have the Corporal. Let's get rid of this mask for now. Come back here. Let's change it to the MI_Kings for King's Guard. And we'll do Sergeant. Give him a promotion, I believe. Compile. And we'll call the scary mask the SK_gas mask version 1. Now you'll notice with this one that like things are poking through, etc. You just need to come in here. You just need to grab the face and do Viz and just turn the visibility of the face off. And there we go. Now we have this pretty freaky looking, I call it the Plague Guard. So now we have the King's Guard. He's running around with his plague mask on. Yeah. There you have it. So that's it. That's how you attach each of them to the Metahuman. And we're done. So I hope you found that useful, and appreciate the time.